everyone, welcome to Shami's Bookshelf. Welcome to a February wrap-up. This is my first part. I'm not sure how many more books I'll read in February, but let's do a wrap-up while I feel like it, because I have several books to talk to you about, which is exciting. First, let's go over some arcs that I read. Definitely want to give you some reviews of them because they are either coming out soon or they just came out. So I want to let you know what I thought. The first one is The Lost World of Prophecy by John H. Walton. This is a nonfiction look at how to examine prophecy in the Old Testament, and directly related to the context of prophecy, how it was used, what it's used for, and what we should do with it kind of idea. It was very academic. At certain points, it felt like I was really in over my head, and it just felt like, okay, I'm a learner. I'm not an academic. I enjoy learning, but I felt like I needed to take a college course from this guy because I didn't think there was any other way I was going to get it. So I give it a 3. If you're interested in that kind of realm, check it out, but it's not for the faint reader, I will say that. Another arc that I read was Unruly by David Mitchell. This one is a comedic telling of British history or British kings and queens. I think from the time of beginning of kings and queens, going to Queen Elizabeth I. So it was a lot. It was like a 450-page book, and it was... I learned about some new kings and queens that I didn't know about before. However, it's very much done in a comedic way, and I think if that's not your sense of humor, you're not going to enjoy it. Like, I had a struggle time with this. Like, I was really struggling to find it funny to read, and then some of the jokes I just were... let's just say he doesn't shy away from swearing, and he doesn't shy away from certain context things, and I'm just not that kind of reader. So I gave it a 3. I also gave The Lost World of Prophecy a 3. This one I gave a 3 because it was just not my sense of humor, but I'm sure many people will enjoy it. It came out, I think, in December. Yeah, December, so it's been out for a little while now, but I finally finished it, and I'm glad I did. Another arc that I read was A Prairie Faith by John J. Fry. This one examines how Laura Ingalls Wilder talks about faith, religion, church, anything related to those realms in her works, in her letters, and what we can examine through her lifetime. So in certain points, it was like, was she a member of this church? Was she not? Like, where was she baptized? If she was baptized, different things like that. And how the book's related to faith, especially when it talks about different pastors. So it was interesting. I gave it a 4-star. I think it was really a unique look at a person who I've read many biographies about, but I hadn't read one with this focus. It wasn't very long, and I did enjoy it, and I think it's very interesting and very worth picking up if you are interested in Laura Ingalls Wilder, or how her world would have been expanded through the look or through the lens of religion or faith. Let's step off the arcs for a little bit. I do have one of my Agatha Christie's that I finished. This was making me sad because I did not finish it in January. I have read an Agatha Christie book every month for about 3 years. This was the first month, January was the first month I did not do that, which was kind of a disappointment. However, I did finish this very quickly into February, and I gave this one 3 stars. I enjoy seeing Tommy and Tuppence as they are friends, and then they're trying to become adventurers, and they get thrown into this international affair, and all of the crazy times that come with it. I really enjoyed Tommy and Tuppence becoming a couple because, spoiler, there's a series about them as a couple. But I did not enjoy the mystery very much. I felt like it was very predictable. And I remember the first time I read it as well, I had the same thought when I read it. So it didn't improve in my opinion. It is 3 stars, and I am glad to have read it. But I did move on to the next Christie after this. That was Murder on the Links, which I gave another 3 stars. This one, very different reason. I enjoyed the mystery a whole lot more. This one follows Poirot and Hastings as they are going to France because Poirot gets a letter from someone who needs his help. But when he arrives, that person is dead. And so he's like, what happened to my client? Because I've already failed them. Now, this book, the mystery, I find to be very interesting. I enjoy Poirot trying to be a Sherlock Holmes-like character. Very fascinating. But I don't like the personal drama that Hastings drags into this thing. This book is overwhelmed with Hastings and his view of women and how he just is always in love with a pretty face. And I was sick of it. So, yeah, 3 stars for this one. I have started ranking my Christies, and currently it's A Mysterious Affair at Styles, then followed by The Secret Adversary, with this one currently in last place for the Christies I've read in order. For the Little House Readathon, I also read this like little 40-page book about the wisdom of Little House on the Prairie, which I was just like, this was ridiculous, a waste of my time. It took like 5 minutes, and it was literally 1 quote per page. I just wanted to have a picture with it. And it was like literally 40 quotes. And I was just like unimpressed. So I gave that one, I think, a 2, maybe 3, because it was just like, you could have done so much more. You could have had sections. You could have had a lot more quotes, a lot more. It was just could have been a lot better. So yeah, not worth checking out in my opinion. The next thing I did read for the Little House Readathon, or one of the other things, was Old Town in the Green Groves, which is by Cynthia Ryland. This one follows the missing 2 years between on the banks of Plum Creek and by the shores of Silver Lake. So Laura Ingalls Wilder never wrote about those 2 years in Burr Town or Burr Oak, and it's for good reason. It was filled with a lot of hardship, a lot of difficulty, a lot of struggle for her family, and she did not write about that. So if you can read this, you can put it right between those two, and you get a very realistic view into their lives. In some ways, it's still child appropriate and child friendly, but it definitely covers topics of grief. It covers the struggles of their family as they were trying to make things work. And it's a good one. I recommend it. It's 4 stars. I also read an audiobook, so I started listening to this audiobook a while ago, and I finally decided I was just going to finish it. And then I realized this actually counted for Prep Regency, so perfect. This is Making the Monster by Catherine Harkup. This one is about the science behind Frankenstein. The book itself was broken down to 2 sections. The first section was a biography of Mary Shelley, and I found that interesting, but that's not what I was looking for when I picked up this book, so I was a little disappointed. The other part of it was the practicalities of this, which got gruesome at times, let me warn you. It was about body snatching and experiments, and it was, yeah. I mean, this was the Regency era. Like, this was early 1800s. They didn't have a lot of information, and they were learning as they went. So, yeah, it was interesting. I gave it 3 stars. I think it's not my preferred interest zone, but also I wasn't expecting a biography. When I did enjoy that, it just wasn't what I was hoping for when I picked up that book. This author wrote A is for Arsenic and Death by Shakespeare and Super Spy Science, I think, which are all about, well, Agatha Christie, Shakespeare, and James Bond, and how those things would be in practicality, not necessarily biographies. So different kind of scope, lens when writing those books, and I enjoyed those ones a lot more. So this one was just a 3, but it's still interesting, and if you're interested in the medical history, check it out. It is a little gruesome. Let me warn you now. I finally finished my buddy read with Berna and Nikki, which, I already got the next book out of the library though, so I should be on top of it. And this was A Rising Man by Abar Mukherjee. This one is set in India in like 1917, maybe it said, maybe 1919. It's just after the First War, and Sam has moved to India. He is now going to be a police officer there because he was done with England, and he has a very interesting case right from the get-go. He is struggling to figure out the civil unrest and how white people and Indian people are coexisting, the different political aspects that are really powerful at that time, and it's very interesting. It doesn't shy away from certain things, and it teaches a lot about that political like climate when obviously things were not great. So I find it really interesting. The mystery was really well done because this white man is killed and everyone assumes that's people who hate him, or they're Indians who just don't like them, don't like white people. And there's clearly much more to the story than that, and Sam has to get to the bottom of it. Really enjoyed it. We're going to be reading book 2 in March, so that should be exciting. Yeah, I think it'll be a good one and a good series to continue reading. Another one I read was The Job by Janet Ivanovich and Lee Goldberg. I started rereading this series last year, and I finally decided time to pick this one up again. This is such a quick and easy read for me. This series follows Kate, who is an FBI agent, and she is tasked to finding Nick Fox. But Nick is a con man, and he is not going to get caught easily. They do catch him, but he is then turned into a FBI agent assistant. Or not assistant, but he helps them catch the bigger guys, like the more ruthless, horrible people. So it's that kind of a series. It is just so much fun. It is like Ocean's 11. It's just so good. I love this series. But I only love it when Lee Goldberg's writing the series. I feel like the other ones just let me down. So I'm rereading this one. This one gets a 4, and I am excited to read The Scam. I currently have it out of the library as an ebook, so I can take it around and make it easier. But yeah, this is a series that I think I will enjoy rereading many times throughout my life. I also read Poirot Investigates. This one I finally finished. I rated each story individually what I thought, and then that gave me an overall rating for the book. So this book gets a 3.9 star rating, so that technically we're gonna go with a 4. But yeah, I finally finished this one. This is a good collection. I enjoyed Poirot's first collection of stories, how he's solving cases, different things that play a part with Poirot, and the different people that he encounters. I enjoyed this one a lot, so I'm excited to have read Poirot Investigates, and I'm going to continue on with reading more short stories from Agatha Christie and finishing off more collections as I go. I have 3 books left. So one of them was Adonis. Anyways, it's by Percy Shelley. So that's Mary Shelley's husband. This is for Feb Regency. I've never read a Percy Shelley work before, so this was interesting. And I enjoyed the poem a lot. This one is based off of what poet who died? I can't remember now. I'm gonna have to look it up. John Keats. So after John Keats died, Shelley wrote this poem, and it was a good poem. I enjoyed it. It was well written. I found it to be very enjoyable to listen to, and I can now say I have tried some of Shelley's work. I don't know if I would read more of Percy Shelley, because what I read about in Making the Monster, I'm not so sure I'm going to be a big fan of his work, or his fictional work versus poetry, but I might one day, you never know. But yeah, it's interesting, and I am glad I can mark him off of one of those authors I have read now. The next one that I read was A Valentine's Day Return by Brenda Minton. This is an ARC. It came out late January. You should definitely check it out if you like the sweet Christian romances. This one follows Mark, who is coming back after having struggles with addiction, and his ex-wife Kylie is living in this small town with their daughter, and she is trying to take care of things. She has a health scare at the beginning of the book, and he is sticking around, and it's about them becoming a family again. I really enjoyed it. I loved how it talked about a lot of things like trust and addiction and conquering these things, but also realizing that addiction is never going to go away. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking for some sweet romance books. This is one that I would check out, and everything will be listed in my description box with like these titles, so you can check them out if you're interested. The next one was Malice. This was by Kiko Higashino. I am butchering that name. I've tried so many times to pronounce it. I am very sorry. This one follows an author who is murdered in his home. The only 2 people who could have access to him, at least that they can tell, are his wife and his best friend. And basically what you get in this book is the best friend's journal entries or note-taking, and then the detective who actually grew up with him, and how he is trying to figure out this puzzle. It's very Poirot-like in some cases, and I really enjoyed it. I definitely saw through certain areas of the mystery, but I didn't see through others. And I was thoroughly happy with how the book went and how it just like connected the pieces, the characters. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I fully recommend this one. I will be reading the second one when I can. The library has it, so I'm trying to get my hands on it. Because it's just one of those series you just want to binge read, essentially. So I'm excited to read more, and I definitely think Malice is one to check out. If you're interested in other countries' mysteries, this one was a good one, and it's Japanese. So I have never read Japanese mystery before, and I'm glad to say I have, and I will keep reading more. So that is it for my reading. I guess I should move out of the way. Those are the stack of books I physically own. I don't have a lot of them because I had a lot of ARCs, but you know what? That's okay. I really have enjoyed what I've been reading so far this month, and I'm hoping the month is going to end strong. I am in the mood for more Christie. So I have pulled my audiobook, which is the Man in the Brown Suit. I'm going to start that one when I take the bus tomorrow morning. And I'm very excited to do that. And I am excited to follow my chronological journey with Christie. So that's going to be on my currently reading list. But basically, I've just had a blast. I've read some Laura Ingalls Wilder. I've read some more Christie's. I have been just taking it easy, but I also have been reading some heavier nonfiction. So it's been a good mix. Please leave me a comment about what your favorite books have been so far this month and what you're planning on reading going forward. I'd love to know down in the comments. If you'd also like to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you're new here, that'd be incredible. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye for now.